always going to be rough. I think Thunder Talk the most likely to roll up to the 4MV bunker, potentially try and head up towards that Incilio bunker if that's where they indeed decide to go. The open ground starting to swallow teams whole around this mansion area. And it is Influence Rage, it's RCB right in the middle of it all.
10 seconds now before we hit stage 3. We are almost halfway through this match. Last time these teams will see Erangel for a little while. We get an eastern shift. The Thunder Talks are happy about this one. TJB similarly looping down off that north side. It's a good spot to be in, John.
Looking at that split from Thunder Talk, and they are doing it right now. They're regrouping. They held too much ground for this circle. Now they have moved back down to that prison west side hill. They'll be a lot stronger as a unit in this situation.
Influence Rage passing RCB here. Teams allowing it to happen, but TJB might have other things to say about it. Enigma Galaxy on a dangerous rotate now. They get past 4MV. They don't take shots, but they're heading over towards the Thunder Talks, who are playing on the western side of prison. It is uphill, so Enigma Galaxy might not take a casualty just yet.
What a rotate, slipping straight through the cracks between the holes from Team Spirit, from 4MV, with Na'Vi behind them on pursuit, and the Vicious as well on the south side. So many teams had crossfire there, so to be able to thread the needle on that one is a great result for Ralph, for Enigma Galaxy to make that call.
Yeah, it's a wild rotate, to be honest with you. I mean, it's completely through open ground, and there is that safety of heading straight up into the tree line. So once you get yourself into there, you are somewhat covered off. They will head down towards that southeast side, towards Lumberyard, getting themselves a little bit more of that high ground advantage so they can scout out around them, maybe listen out for vehicles. Alpha 7 making their way in on that northeastern edge. But a lot of teams here, John, still 15. We have lost a fair few players in the mix of this one. But despite that, everyone's being very cautious, hoping to maintain as many points as possible on our most reliable map here.
We talk a lot about these dips in this area, Blank, and RCB have one on lockdown on northwest side. Unfortunately, the circle does put them right towards the edge on it, which means that they are going to have to try and push their way on through. And going step by step down to the south edge of those dips is really quite difficult, especially if you have teams surrounding you, which is currently the case. TJB a little bit closer to the middle of that open area, out to their east side, can control a lot of it, but I think it's all still on this Enigma Galaxy rotate up towards the southeast side. To be able to take control of this area could be what wins them not only this match, but potentially even the tournament.
Yeah, it's hard, and I think for RCB they understand that there is a lot of area around here that is defensible, that they can use potentially going forward. But it does rely on them taking down Boing Donkey ID, Falcons, the stragglers from that team, D plus Kia on their north side. Influence Rage has set up the barricade down towards their southeast. It's a hard spot to be in, but if anyone can hold on, it will be RCB. But with a shift like that, Enigma Galaxy's day just got a whole lot better.
Goodness me, what a gift to the southeast side. Everybody on the northwest in danger now, needs to move fast. Falcons trying to get away from D plus Kia, but Osal is on the hunt. Fortunately, runs out of ammo. Icy steps into the backseat of the buggy, and that is a bit of a misstep there for him. Will fall down, goes up in smoke. Now it's just top there, in location for the Falcons on the northwest side.
RCB's in. They've managed to get their way through. Influence Rage had nothing to say about it. And somehow RCB is barreling it towards the center of the circle here in Shelter. No one's stopping them. Everyone's way too focused on everything around them. Enigma Galaxy and RCB. Co-lecturer masterclass in a rotate.
These are the moneymaker movements right now for the two teams at the top of the tables as Enigma Galaxy look to sweep through. But Na'Vi are now here behind them to try and make their day a little bit more difficult, make them work for their paycheck. TJB trying to get on through as well, slam straight into that RCB position. Boing Donkey are here to play as well. RCB have taken a knock. TJB is starting to tumble down as well, but Zeta clocks one up to Narvalo, sends him tumbling. needing to pick up that res. Enigma Galaxy want this top of the hill, but Na'Vi still putting pressure on. Not to worry, Redux is here.
Redux forced off though. A hovercraft in the way. 4MV taken down. TJB off in the distance. Redux down as that front line. Enigma Galaxy suffering at the hands of Na'Vi. They start to push up, claiming ground, looking to chop down the tree that is Enigma Galaxy. Firmly planted their route over towards Lumberyard.
And Na'Vi approach on the southeast side, and 2 players for Enigma Galaxy now split. SnowX and Arvalo, very different locations right now. SnowX really looking to regroup here. You can see him sending back over towards his teammate on the east side. We'll play on the hills to the south of Prison, to the north of Lumberyard. And on the east edge, Alpha 7 are going to look to flow down towards that south side, with Revo already that outpost.
Yeah, for Alpha 7, this is a good cutscene for them. RCB did weather the storm though. 4 players of Enigma Galaxy, the same cannot be said. Looking like a steady oak on that game up until that moment. It really was a case that the bark on that tree was louder than their bite. SnowX now on the southwest side, trying to stay alive as long as possible. But RCB look for more names inside the lobby.
That's what they need to find that step up. They're only 2 points behind Blank, and they've closed that gap by 1. It could change around here. In the meantime, D+ here and the Vicious going toe-to-toe, and Nolbu's down. Chips and Fabian stand, but 3 players are in their way for the Vicious. They are on the surround. D+ here, this circle not going to force them out of this building just yet, but Nolbu re-knocked almost immediately. That could have been a flush, but the rest came through on time. And the Vicious with Brenozen on the high ground. Gonna try.
You can move freely on Spawn Island while you wait to board the plane.
Oh, there's two, but Chips is ready for it. He spots the bolt in and immediately sets him reeling down. Has been knocked. The player around the corner, Reyes, with the wall side, doesn't have the backup yet from Renozin.
Chips is in. Looks to finish off these players. This looks like a good nade out the window. Burst perfectly. Another down and D plus after 3 eliminations, though Notbu knocked on the top side. We'll go for the res now.
The south
circle.
On the circle, it is that south side shift, and Na'Vi have the hilltop that Enigma Galaxy should have been in possession of. You can see how much influence they have over the southeast edge, and if Enigma Galaxy had been able to win out that fight, it could have all been different here, but now RCB are champing at the bit to take that first place from them.
Alpha 7 up against Influence Rage. Two Brazilian teams in the heat of battle here. 4MV, Doc takes down one from Team Spirit as they attempt to get in on that northwest side. It's not meant to be. The wall is laid down. Na'Vi rolling through in the hovercraft. Carrillo hits the deck and McGrellin now looks for the off angle. One down for Na'Vi, potentially able to piece this back together. Do Carrillo a favour from earlier in this match.
He was able to hold them all together. 4 players stayed alive because of him, and now the other 3 need to keep him in the fold. Lemon with suppression out, and Na'Vi have pulled the hovercraft into their toolkit. See if they can deliver on it like Itsilio do. The nade on the bounce from Team Spirit takes down 4MV on the northwest side. In the meantime, they lose Nomi, but 3 players will play on.
Good arc on that nade from Team Spirit. Takes down Baron. Lording over any land on that side of the map now. In comes Alpha 7 though, rolling through in the vehicle, has to send away, but 10 eliminations on the game for Alpha 7. Trying to break that 13th place curse already out, leaving Falcons in their dust.
We've seen a lot of high elimination early games from individual teams right now, Blank. We haven't really seen that many times where that changes from these early games, from these mid games, into a late game. And I think Alpha 7, they've got momentum here. This is a brilliant result. From the north side of prison, from the top of the prison hills on the south edge of it, there's a lot of control to be had. And if Na'Vi can't stop them, I don't think anyone else in this lobby can right now in this game either.
This is the first time that Alpha 7's really caught a little bit of luck, caught a little bit of momentum. I don't think they're going to let that go to waste at all. Snowix, final player, nades bobbling over the top, and all he can do is lie down in fear that one of these nades connects. Enigma Galaxy goes out early, and potentially RCB claims that top spot even further.
Finding that second elim on the game, RCB have now pushed themselves into the lead, but it is tenuous. It is a tiebreaker right now between these two rosters to decide that top spot. And we only have this match and 2 more to play. It is so down to the wire. Team Spirit, they only have 3 players. They lost one earlier on the northwest side in their fight with 4MV, but they're trying to roll down on the west edge now, with D+ gear ahead of them.
Wild down, Thunder Talk. RCB fairly split. Luckily, Loxy is there. Finds King. Another go down for Thunder Talk, and RCB is holding their own. Loxy, a rotating turret, but it's starting to look dire now. 2 players are down. Luckily, Silas is able to keep them in the running. Wild's fully out.
The veteran needs to be a sentinel now. Safeguard the rest of his team. The nade over the top doesn't quite connect. King could have gone down just there, but the first aid will come through because of it. Why though? Flushed away. AJ under pressure, and Silas once more. 3 points now earned for RCB as they lose Loxy and play on with 2. It's the veteran and the super sub now, Silas and Sarah.
Need to hold their own. They need more points off the back of this. If Snowix gets up to a top 5, it's looking dire for them. And RCB were in a good position. They just let Thunder Talk flow on past them. Team Spirit's got a good idea of where this is all going down as well. And they open up with 1. Xing already taking a lot of damage. AJ attempting to move out, but I don't think Xing's long for this world.
AJ trying to dance around it, but it's a hailstorm sent to it by Silas. AJ does manage to dip 1 more spray set, but the last will connect. the reload there, and he's got the Bison. Plenty of ammo in the magazine here to find him. As the nade tries to push him back off the rock. The aggression here with the DBS stepping up wide, slowly taking down his health bar, and RCB have 6 points on the board on this match. 5 of them earned by the old champ himself, Silas.
Silas not dropping a beat here. One of the few veterans that is still fearsome into 2024. Chips moves forward from D+, assisting RCB's approach. A nade from Sara. It's big. One goes down for Team Spirit. Matic left up, but more shots coming through. And RCB find 2 more. 8 elims on the game, but they've got D+ to deal with next.
The import from Japan having an impact here. Now the last to stand for them, as Silas has been knocked and flushed. The roll around the side draws RCB's game to a close. But with 8 elims, a 6th place finish as well. They've got some placements there. Can Enigma Galaxy outlast this one? They don't have any points right now, but the placements start to rack up from this point in.
Really strong result from RCB. 8 eliminations. They'll surely get some placement points off the back of that one. Not a lot, obviously. Enigma Galaxy needs a top 4. And they're likely to get it, actually. No one's really looking over towards Snowix. It really will depend on this next circle shift. If it holds him in, he could live out on that cliffside for a very long time. He's not peeking on into anything, and Alpha 7 would have to force their way over towards prison to clear him out. It's not worth their time, really. You have to deal with Na'Vi down towards that south side.
We were talking about the momentum that Alpha 7 have had. They have been a bit quieter now, struggling to get rid of Snowix. They need to keep that temperature up if they want to put more pressure onto this lobby. D+ Kia just continually moving around, and actually on the tables with this circle shift, there's a threat waiting in the wings for both RCB and Enigma Galaxy. It's coming all the way from South Korea.
For D+, I mean, they played a good game. There have been some good rotations from D+ before. Enigma Galaxy took complete control of one of those rotations, but it was smart when they made it happen. Over on Arangle. That nade might just spell doom here as Snowix is enveloped by the blue. Na'Vi steps back. The hovercraft creating a mobile wall for them.
Nades from Na'Vi as they try to wrap around towards D+ Kia. Does connect on towards Point Donkey ID as they do manage to find that opener onto Vexy, but a lot of damage sent back their way. And there is a hold here for Point Donkey to be seen. Flip is super low. Last player for Na'Vi and Alpha 7 have mounted the hilltop here as well. The crossfire. McGrellan finds Potato. McGrellan finds Razor. Mafioso finds Six.
No way.
And both of these teams are getting pulled apart. D+ Kia wants a third party as well, but there's too little too late. Alpha 7 mop it up.
Zeta, the clutch maestro himself, another team walks in, but gets a bit of the fangs from Zeta. Alpha 7 now moving downwards. D+ gave a player just 1 elimination, but 14 elims right now for Alpha 7. A massive game to propel them forward.
And over the ridgeline, they will exert their control over this circle with 3 players left for them to take down. Enigma Galaxy, 3rd place, by the way, Blank. We were talking about the points earned by RCB here, but if a 2nd place is possible for Snowix, that's 6 points placement.
Snow in the name, and he's happy to play out in the cold. The northeast side, that'll keep him safe, and a 3rd place, like you say, potential. A 2nd place, likely. Wait for this next circle as it comes through. D+. Depends how quickly this team goes down, but they're waiting things out.
Two players on the north need to make their move. Alpha 7 have control of the high ground and of the ridgeline. They've got a lot of death crates to loot up around as well. Grab some more ordnance. And towards the side of Mafioso, you can see he's starting to open up that side of the map. Keep it under control. Snowix knows he needs to strike out soon. The circle closing in 5 seconds, and it will push him away and into this fight.
Smart play from D+. They moved closer towards prison. I think they realised that they cleared out a lot of the western edge. Eastern side must be mainly controlled by Alpha 7. So third team has to be hiding out in prison. So they angle themselves. You can see Chips constantly looking over to where Snowix is playing. Great place name, but Snowix runs forward. Will have to hit the deck immediately, but he's alive.
A little bit spicy there. As the blue zone pushes him, he's going to need to go for the fight. Opened up, 2 players from the higher ground, D+ here on the side swipe. I don't think Snowix gets further than this, but Revo has a challenge sent his way with a hail of bullets. Takes it down to half HP. Snowix not completely out of it, but finally gets clocked, and it's Revo to get the point. 9 elims for D+ here, and they are into a second place. The top of the tables are not secure.
D+ taking a hell of an amount of damage. 16 now for the boys over on Alpha 7. And it's done and dusted. 18 elims for the Brazilian powerhouse. Relief on the team's face. They don't bow out in 13th.
I mean, you can see the faces of Alpha 7 rivaling the audience here, rooting them on. They realize how far down leaderboards they currently are, but is there a world here, 7, where Alpha 7 could come back if they continually have big games like this?
As much as I would want to believe, as much as I would want to say, do Brazil over and over again, it's just too far for me. And it kind of goes along the lines of what I was talking about earlier with Point Donkey. Okay, you know that first place, it's going to be a little bit too far. Where do you set your expectation to be? I feel like for Alpha 7, the expectation, if possible for them, is definitely going to be at least minimum top 5. And if they even can push to that, if they can do something along the lines of what you were saying, Jason, continue on to be able to get this win, have good performances in Miramar, then hopefully they might end up clutching up a top 3.
As you guys are noticing on your screen here in the top left-hand side, you do not want to miss out as you're watching PMGC Live. You can claim some exclusive, amazing in-game rewards just by using the code PMGC Lucky over to PUBG Mobile official website to redeem. No, Max, you cannot do that just yet. But as we're saying with Alpha 7, I mean, if this was the Alpha 7 we saw on day 1 that came into the entire event, that would be like, okay, that's expected.
Yep.
But for them to potentially do this again in 2 back-to-back maps with Miramars, it's possible, but we're going to have to find out when we see the overalls how close they actually are for first place.
I mean, you said the keyword there, it's Miramar. So we know Alpha 7 typically tend to be pretty good on that map
But
in
it
the past,
haven't.
but not now. That's the thing, in the past, but not now, and that's a little bit of an issue. Nice last 3 from that.
Mafioso.
Very nice, love to see it. But yeah, it's good from Alpha 7 to get that. Again, he said top 5, I think 7 in terms of trying to reach that kind of position. But again, in terms of top fraggers, we talked many times about Revo, Mafioso, McGrellin back in PMWC, but Cadiel is still doing good in terms of elims despite being the IGL. He's up there.
I'm actually happy to see this. This is something Jason and I have been talking about for the longest time. Whenever we do end up seeing Carrillo being able to perform really well, it kind of gives us back a flashback. I think it was to 2021, especially when he was one of the top players in the world. It has slowed down a bit, but it's good to see a resurgence out of this team. For this team, I feel like right now, they're just damage control. They're starting to think already of what they're going to be doing in 2025.
Speaking of damage control, Snowix, phenomenal job getting top 3. We had Red and Crier, but Silas in particular getting a ton of eliminations here, Max. But Snowix staying alive to 3rd place, I believe, keeps them in lead, or if anything, keeps that gap extremely small between these 2 teams.
Yeah, because we saw Reagan Cara Brown. We're going to talk about Reagan Cara Brown
Yes.
having so many eliminations this game, right? But to counteract that, Snowix able to secure himself a top 3 position. So many placement points, it kind of negates the maybe belief that could have been made at that point by Reagan Cara Brown. So Snowix, if they end up winning, maybe this game here, the time he was able to survive until top 3, we'll look back on Twitter and say that was the game that allowed him to reach first.
It's the same thing from the last match where we had Red and Carrier close it out, but the Galaxy had a ton of eliminations. So these 2 teams, these 2 titans of PUBG Mobile, battling it out constantly in back-to-back battlegrounds to try to get that trophy, but with still 2 matches left to go, it comes down to how they're going to perform on Miramar.
And it is scary to see the performances out of these teams now in back-to-back matches. Just one being able to respond to the other, keeping that margin really close. And when we start talking about some of the other teams like D+, I mean, you're going to be going into Miramar. Luckily for D+, they were able to have a good performance here as well. I really enjoyed their decision-making, the way they were able to kind of rotate there towards the west. And then they ended up punishing some of the teams as well, trying to see if they can third party. The thing for this team now going into Miramar for D+, is just going to come down to that aggression. What is this team going to be able to do if they are also met with aggression? I got a chance to talk to Osal at the beginning of the day, and I asked him straight up, what makes the difference for you guys going into Miramar? He said, we're just able to make faster decisions, and we're also to be just more aggressive. I feel like they've been able to implement that here in Arendelle as well.
15 points for D+, as you're talking about the mirror. Obviously, Alpha 7 with the 28. But D+, Regnankara, and Nimba Galaxy, a 5-point difference between these two teams. This is going to be tough. I really feel like, and I really hope it's going to come down to that final match.
It is going to be the case, I really think so. With how just the rivalry is going through between Nigma Galaxy and Regnankara, is going to be down to the wire. Though as we go on to the second page, DRX, we're still not seeing anything. They keep going super early, so I hope there was maybe a little bit of a comeback potential in the second half of today. But I think the DRX, we also might have to get to a point of saying, race for first place, it's out of the question. It's just going to be between like 3-4 teams.
You know what, when we get to overalls, we're going to do exactly that.
Please.
Start to really look down on what the potential is. I mean, Influence Rage starting off the day extremely strong here, getting the win on Sandhawk, but they've been ever so quiet since. But here we go, 135 points, Regnankara, only a 3-point difference. We have to wonder if Snowix did fall early in that match, how big would this lead actually be?
Big. But D+, realistically, you're talking about their decision making and the speed at which they make moves, right? You're talking to Oliver. Their scouting really is just so damn good on Miramar. It is really an issue. They get so much information on teams around them, and of course, information in a game like this allows you to make quick decision making, to get control of strong positions, to hopefully go the entire way in that match. So I think that D+, they going on that map, there's a very good chance that they could compete with Regnankara and the side of Nigma Galaxy in the last 2 games.
Jason, with what you were talking about earlier in regards to Alpha 7, are they going to be able to make a push anywhere? No, it's just too far, but as I was saying, for top 5 for that team, I feel like they'll end up being happy with that. And now for some of the other teams, right, I'm going to be looking at Falcons, I'm going to be looking at Thunder Talk, Navi, all of this squads. We even saw Navi being able to bring the fight there towards Nigma Galaxy in this past match, which forced Snowix to just end up camping.
Yeah, Navi actually had a really good approach here. They're like, oh wait, this team is really paying attention to the teams north and northwest of them. I think they're at Boyne in their kind of direction and field of view. We're just going to rotate behind it, get the eliminations on that team, and actually off the back of that had some extra hovercrafts they could use. So Navi actually been really good, but then Alpha 7 coming swinging. They see that Navi's good to fight on the side of D+ Kia, and once that fight ends, Alpha 7 go in and get the win off the back of that.
You know, to go back to my original question when we did see our overalls, it's about which teams are we going to start counting out. I did notice it's almost a 30-point gap between first and fourth place. So my eyes are kind of looking at basically top 3, maybe even just top 2. If you're, Influence Rage in fourth place, almost 30 points, out, you need to win basically these next 2 games if you want to have a chance.
I think for me, I'm with you. I think the teams that are currently below 4th place, maybe 4 and B, there's still that slight chance, but I just don't see it happening with some of the decisions making that we've seen out of this team today.
You need to win. You need to win right now if you have to have an opportunity to compete for first place. But the thing is, doing that back-to-back and expecting Regnankara and Nigma Galaxy and D+ Kia, that we know is now going into Miramar, that are so good in these last 2 maps, to compete against that, I'm telling you, I think the top 3, I think you might be onto something here, Jason. That might be the only 3 teams in contention at this point.
Well, you know what, before we do get into our Miramar, a big shout out here to Kadia, the Gaming and Esports District, in a world-first immersive gaming experience for both visitors and residents, where video games come to life.
I want to go there.
Global gaming communities can come together. It's actually going to be really cool to see. I cannot wait till we get to go there.
No PMWC is going to be there if it happens again. You might be able to go visit at the same time.
Man, well, obviously, while you guys are watching at home, we still have the code available for you to get 50 UC off with 10 draws in the PMGC Lucky Spin. Use the code 2024 PMGC and look at this Midnight Raven and Enigma set. Look extremely nice. And it's time for all these teams to honestly flare up right now here in the final 2 games of the day. The final 2 games of the year, to be honest. Coming to a close. 2024 for PUBG Mobile.
When you say it like that, it sounds so sad. Let's extend it a little bit longer. Maybe we might end up not just kidding.
We might get some more show matches. Who knows? Maybe us.
They were fun.
A talent show match at some point.
They were fun.
It was cool.
Talking about the next Miramar matches, I feel like we kind of gotta dive in a little bit more to teams that might actually end up pushing that championship rank, pushing for that first place. D+ so far for this team, I feel like that's gonna be the biggest upside for them. People expect them to do good. The worst placement for this squad so far in the 4 Miramar matches that we have played has been 6th place. And they were only able to get 1 elimination there. If we go back and look at some of the other performances out of them, they were able to get 3rd place, 1st place, and then on top of that, back it up with eliminations. they need to take full advantage of this, and they need to make sure that they also respond to whatever RCB and Enigma Galaxy are going to do.
That's the thing I wanted to bring up actually, because I think the Regnum Karabra and Enigma Galaxy know going into these last 2 maps, Enigma Galaxy are going to be D+ are going to be a threat. Maybe you want to try and hold off their rotate. That could be an issue.
Wait, I'm hearing there's a problem on the stage. What's Sandstorm? What are you doing? Get out of here!
Sen? What are you doing, Sen?
What's he up to?
What? Taking the check yesterday.
Huh. He's sneaking on stage.
Is he trying to get on stage? Sandstorm?
Huh. You'll be able to see him from here, right? Definitely can. We can't say that, guys. We can't talk about them. They're too low on the leaderboard. If you rewrite that Falcons force over an RCB,
Wait,
I can get your back.
put it up again. I thought it was going to be Sandstorm.
I thought it was.
I think it might have been a false alarm.
might have got him, actually. That's
I
perfect.
think it was caught on the process of doing something shady.
All right, well, you know what? Let's keep talking about the game.
Yeah.
You're talking about D+, you're talking about for them to have a chance here, you got to get a lot of eliminations. There's obviously, I think if you're Enigma Galaxy or you're Regnum Karabra, it's very hard to play in this situation because you know you're at the top. You know if you mess up, you make one mistake, it's going to cost you that trophy, and it's going to be so hard to pull off.
One mistake, 1 point that maybe is not secured, that could be the major issue in these last 2 matches to see who's going to be lifting the trophy.
Speaking of trophy, there he is. It's the man. It's Sandstorm.
Navi.
Hey guys, I'm back again. If you know me, you know I like to steal trophies. We're at PMGC. This trophy, I must have it. Shh, come on. See, this trophy's gonna be mine. I'm gonna take it and no one's gonna stop me.
Are you sure about that?
No.
Get out of here.
Alright.
Right now.
You know, that's the kind of bodyguard I want.
I was gonna say, you definitely, if he tells you move, just move, okay? If not, you're gonna end up getting picked up like I ended up getting picked
No,
up.
I can see Max if he was in that situation. He'd be like, nah, I'd win.
I would not. You could be
That's something John would do.
You could not have a best bodyguard for that trophy, by the way. No one's getting to it unless you
Should
win
have
it.
picked him up over his head and just threw Sandstorm.
Like you said to Sam.
Next time.
Well,
You know,
well.
let's hop back in. So let's focus up here, right? Because these teams are definitely focusing up. So if you're a player, if you're a coach here, what do you really even do in this situation? I mean, obviously the nerves can be running extremely high. I mean, Silas, he's looking for his 2nd trophy. I think the Galaxy looking for their first time a French player as well would be able to have won a PMGC here, Max. And that makes you happy.
I do want to bring up a very important prospect to have for these 2 matches, right?
Yep.
D+ here, we know their edge team. We know how they rotate. We know what are their typical entry points.
Yes.
I'm not saying hot drop. I think that that's something that we should not.
This
be
you,
having.
Hot Jukes?
No. Realistically, you know where they tend to enter from in the circle. Enigma Galaxy, Regnum Karabra know that is going to be their main competition going on Miramar.
Yep.
Maybe just set up a little bit of a defensive position mid-game on the side of the circle. No D+ might be coming in through trying to negate the competition. It's unlikely, but it could be a super smart 10,000 IQ plan if they really want to commit to it.
10,000 IQ. Like,
10,000.
your brain's gonna explode at that point.
Let me go on full on Hot Jukes, okay? Some of these teams need to be careful because they might end up getting hunted. And I don't mean just by being a full hot drop, they might end up getting trapped. I mean, we have the caliber of teams that we currently have on that 2nd page that are trying to get points, that might just be trying to do a bit of damage control. I mean, one of them currently on your screen, Team Falcons, they really haven't been able to put up the performances that a lot of people expect them, especially out of what we saw out of them out of last chance. But if we go back to the top 2 teams, Enigma Galaxy and RCB, these 2 teams just haven't really been able to perform that well, that consistent when it comes down to Miramar. Yes, RCB was able to get a 2nd place finish on the 1st day. Yes, Enigma Galaxy yesterday, they were able to get a 2nd place and a 3rd place as well. But what are they going to be doing today? Because I honestly think that D+ is going to end up surprising us.
This is when the map order is important. You end on the side of 2 Miramar matches, and you know that D+, they're going to make the most out of this. In these last 2 matches on PMGC 2024, we're about to end the season with these next 2 matches.
Well, we're going to make the most out of it as well as we're going to drop into Miramar for the first time at 2 of the day. On the final day of the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2024 with John Allen and Blake.
The games have reached a boiling point, and it will only get hotter and hotter as we go on into Miramar. The desert awaits. Plane path splits the map down the middle. Everybody can get where they want to go, but not all the way. Only one team's going to win this one out.
The crowd is chanting for 4MV. And honestly, in the midst of all that, probably every other team towards the top side of the lobby right now looking to make their way in. Alpha 7 with a very pleasing performance for their fans. Back at home and here in London. But it's RCB and Nick McGalaxy who are knocking on the doors of greatness.
Representatives from the EMEA region, neck and neck now, going for the grandest title in PUBG Mobile esports. But if they don't settle their differences, there may be that outside chance. Teams further down the tables, sure there's a gap, but we've seen 33-point games this tournament. Things can change in but a moment. Northeast shift of the circle up to Al Azhar.
Tough shift as well for a lot of squads. To get out of the way nice and quickly, up towards Al Azhar, Impala, Valparaiso. No one's in there quite yet. That eastern rotate. Somewhat a little bit more difficult to make happen. Point Donkey ID with a great spot right now in Torre Armada. Can move on down. Slip in between those gates down towards Al Azhar. Pick up a nice high ground. And work with that. 4MV on your screens. More than redeemed themselves coming into PMGC 2024.
Earning over 100 points so far. A team with a following almost unlike any other. And they have made their mark here, earning 103 so far. They have found their feet, they have found that comeback, but in 5th place, there is a large gap to jump up, to be able to lift that trophy. And so many teams in their way to stop them.
For the McLaren, there'll be one more pit stop. And they'll be closing the race out towards the top side of the table. Right now, RCB, that gap of 2 points extended by 1. Influence Rage still trying to make this one happen. D plus off that last game, 119 points, lovely stuff, and Alpha 7 now in 11th. With a chance, actually, to get into the top 5, they have another good game. And if you've been an Alpha 7 fan for a long time, you know that Miramar is their stomping grounds. This is where the majority of their strong maps have come through, and it's why they have been so demonic at the end of some of these tournaments, because it comes down to these final 2 Miramars. Suddenly, Alpha 7 starts bringing something special out from the backpack.
Let's hope they can keep that one unfurling. Keep that momentum going, because they are 50 points behind 1st place right now. It would need 2 back-to-back chicken dinners to see them towards the top of the tables. Not so for D plus Kia though. They are a lot closer, just around the corner in fact. Only 16 points behind. That is a closable gap. And to see a South Korean team lift that trophy, that would be brilliant for the region. It's been a long time coming. We've talked about South Korea as this constantly improving, developing region. It feels like we're seeing that finally being displayed here on the biggest stage in PUBG Mobile.
In terms of internationals, that has certainly been the case for South Korea. Started off not great. D+, alright, changed the game.
They did.
And since then it has just been better and better and better, but this has been just a unreal tune-up in terms of capability, in terms of determination, in terms of stability within these teams. And I think you'll see D+ and DRX for some time to come now. Both very strong squads, and that's always a nice thing, not only having just that one team from your region, but having another as well that performs just as good.
And those performances need to be stellar towards the top of it, on the tables. Ooh, a little scrap for Silas. A little bit of danger, wades straight on through the guild camp, and the rest of his team are actually not too close behind, so positions given away, Silas not overexposed, and he finds some safety blank.
Let's head on to over the stage to get a recap
Welcome back to Championship Sunday, and what would this entire event, this entire competition be without the fans? I am joined by Inan. How are you doing, buddy? You good?
I'm good, thank you. How are you lot? All good?
Yeah, we're great. You know, roaming around and seeing all of you guys is something that's, you know, it's the cherry on top of the cake for us. Now, where have you travelled from to come here?
I'm actually based in London. I haven't travelled far, but because my background's Turkish, I've come to support Regnum Carabra.
Yes, you have. I love that. A local sandstorm. How awesome. That's exactly what we like. You know, we like to have, you know, people supporting either from Turkey or from London. It's fantastic to see fans from all over the place. Now, can you tell us, what would it mean to you and the region for RCB to take the PMGC this year?
It will mean a lot, absolutely, because I've been following Regnum Carabra for nearly 2 years now, and they've been absolutely dominating the whole Turkish PUBG, and they've been dominating everything. But this would be meaning a lot to them because they're absolutely working so hard, and they're doing great so far. So it will be meaning a lot to people in Turkey, people who are supporting them all around the world.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first title as well. It would be the second one, and it would prove that Turkey is up there with one of the best regions in the world in PUBG Mobile. They are. They're extremely strong, and we love to see it. But, you know, we've got a few more maps to go at this point in the competition. It's getting very tense. You could cut the tension with a knife in the XL Arena. So for now, we're going to head back to you guys so we can continue Championship Sunday.
The fans have been lifting up these teams to the performances that they have delivered upon, and we were wondering if RCB were going to go down there in a fight with Guild, but no team actually took a casualty during that interview.
Yeah. I mean, Barney said you could cut the tension with a knife. I don't think so. The tension in that moment was like twisted steel.
Goodness me. It is right down to the wire, but I think the crowd are trying to tell us something. I wonder who they're supporting right now.
Doc on your screens, an unreal player leading his squad. It's plentiful points going forward. A 33-point game, a record-breaking game before MV. And expect no less from the Dockening. Stage 2 though on the way, very shortly, 15 seconds to go on this one. It's a small circle after this. We go stage 1, a lot of space to play with, teams already in their vehicles. You can see RCB, you can see Influence Rage, all gearing up to step on the gas, and they absolutely will have to. We're heading out over towards the coastal side, over in El Azahar. It's a tough circle as well because a lot of that space on the eastern side is unplayable. That's cliffside.
You've got a lot of that cliff in play there, you're right. It's going to cut out the east side. The hills around El Azahar as well are so difficult to move through. The center of the town sits in this massive valley between several different hills that surround it, which means it's basically impossible once teams have managed to entrench themselves on that position. I'm looking at who's going to be able to get the north side of this one, Blank. It's between Alpha 7 and Na'Vi right now as to who is going to take control there, but I think once they've been able to find that north edge could be really powerful for them into these next circles.
Vicious up against Team Spirit. No, not quite with the squad yet though. And it will be 3 players first to face for Team Spirit versus the Vicious. In awkward compounds, awkward spaces, good pre-fire from Kitsune though. Will take down the first on Vicious, looking rather delicious for Team Spirit.
It could get a little bit pernicious here as continue to send players on in. Fortunately not quite enough to handle Team Spirit. Diminor and Brunozin. 2 players, 1 up, 1 down. They do manage to find a shot through. That's actually Lorazin from Influence Rage to be able to thread a shot through, and a shotgun from Brunozin lands onto Nomi, down in the alleyway, flushed out as well. And Team Spirit, they were in control of the fight, but with 1 blow struck from Influence Rage, that all changes.
Shot, we'll find 1. But Effects is bleeding out in the process. It's a nice maneuver from Kitsune to get outside the window, get the flush on board. No more info gathering available, and likely to go for the res here. Effect is so close to being down completely. They have to pick him up. For Enigma Galaxy, they've also taken a knock This is down towards the south side. D Plus and DRX. South Korea surrounds them, and D Plus looks to pile on in.
SnowX is down, and now Redox has fallen. The nade in doesn't connect onto Yunbin, and Ralph has to run. Run back here, cannot really afford to take enough time to get in. There goes Novallo. huge opening for RCB to earn points on this match now. Accelerate away. Look to lock in a second title for Silas.
Let's get started. Drive safe. Turn right. Turn right. Continue straight. Turn right. Turn right. Turn right. You have reached your destination.
no. It is Nigma Galaxy to fall. A chance for Turkey to find their feet here in 2024.
At the penultimate hurdle, Nigma Galaxy stumbles. RCB blazes past. How long can they keep that up over towards that northwest side? They'll have to continue forward with the circle. Pleasantly surprising for RCB and the squad. DRX and D+ weren't letting Nigma Galaxy get out of that one scot-free, but Incilio starts to make their way on through. But with Nigma Galaxy out, you're right, John. Those teams around them start to soar higher above. D+ being one of those teams that I have my eyes on here.
D+ Kia on the southeast edge, currently looking to push through. 4MV on the north side. I was saying once Na'Vi and 4MV conclude, that edge we think could be quite powerful, but now you've got Alpha 7 up there in the mix as well. See how they could transition down south into this next circle. Void Donkey ID, very, very central onto this one already. They've got an open area surrounding the compound that they hold. The ridge to the south side, potential vulnerability, but that's currently being fraughtly, tensely contested by two teams, by Falcons, by Thundertalk in the center of this circle. Incilio trying to extract from the southeast side, but D+ Kia are left weight on their feet as they try and rotate. Not to worry though, so if D+ Kia can't earn a couple of points either way.
South Korean killers here in the lobby. D+, putting the hurt on the south side of the map. 4 elims already found up to 123 points. Good stuff from them, and DRX being injured, Incilio being injured means that their northern approach is free and open. They've cleared the way. Now it's time just to walk the path.
4MV versus Na'Vi. On the ridge side, the first opener goes the way of 4MV, but remember Alpha 7's presence on the west side. There is a big third-party potential for this one. And if Alpha 7 want to make this ascension work, they want to change the game, they will need to take this third party, sweep through the north edge, isolate these fights. 4MV look to put more pressure on, but slowly Alpha 7 march forwards. Revo the first to step into harm's way. Flip goes down and 4MV commit to the push. Carrillo moves up for Alpha 7 behind all of this, and 4MV, they've made their way onto the inside, but they may have sealed themselves within their own tomb. If Alpha 7 can get here in time, Reaper steps through, goes down to the spray, and Lemon keeps the door frame under control, keeps the inside there for Na'Vi. Apex is down as well. They could res here, and Alpha 7 have established their perimeter all the while.
Alpha 7 looking good for a couple more points here on the cards and maintaining a huge amount of presence over towards that northeast side. They're going to be extremely happy. Either way, this breaks down. 1 elim already. Nade starting to send over the top. Doc is hurting. Mafioso looks to deliver the final nail.
Perfect encirclement from Alpha 7. They read this fight like a book. And they add these points to their tally with all too much gusto. Na'Vi trying to leave, and now they're under pressure from the Brazilians as well. 3 points earned so far. A headshot landed onto Lemon. The play zone takes him down, and Revo doesn't want to let that point slip away from them. Picks it up, and Lemon gets eliminated. Puncher now on the back line for Na'Vi. The last to stand in the blue. The high ground, though, flowed out towards. That is a knocked player and a surviving player. Let's go with that. For Na'Vi up on the high ground, they can get that res and maybe get a little bit of an answer, but I don't think that they're going to be able to find it with the position that Alpha 7 hold over them. A really good result for the Brazilians on the north.
Alpha 7 just going from good to better here inside this map. And Revo, to be fair to him, even though not been too high up in the lobby, he's been eviscerating the competition thus far, reminding them why he is the shotgun of Brazil. But RCB make their way on over on that eastern side to Alpha 7, have an inkling of what's going down.
RCB not the ones to find it. It's actually flipped from Na'Vi, who spots McGrellin on the way out. There's cover from the buggy, but it is slim to none. And with RCB, you're right, coming in from this western side, the ridgeline is exposed. Alpha 7, I think they're losing McGrellin here. Not really too much to do about it, but two players looking for an answer, moving up the side of the cliff in the vehicle, trying to scramble their way back to Na'Vi and put the pressure on even further. turn the screws to them. But all three of these Na'Vi players have somehow made it out blank.
I don't know how that's possible, but the resilience shown there from Na'Vi is nothing short of extraordinary. TJB up against Guild. Jakey doing a pretty good job. Themselves in at Triple S, gets a lot of shorts and longs now, has to deal with the short end of the stick down towards this south side. The player gets right up in his face. And now he looks to finish.
Over the top of the smoke, drops down low, Wagner there. High ground potentially a third party as the spray from Longs is there. Matic on that off angle is the one to put a stop to it. And the rest of Guild under pressure as well. Team Spirit have flexed out, they lost a player earlier, but they still have 3 to go. And Wagner, he's trapped on the outside here for Guild. I don't think he's going to be able to get away from this unless you rip a real big smoke train, get some reses on board. Guild should be done for here.
Yeah, this is a terrifying situation to be in for Guild. The marshal the banners if they want to get out of here, but it's just not likely. Matic fully out of manual, straight into automatic. Sending the nades downhill, and it's impossible to leave this location. Team Spirit do need to clear it though. So Kitsune will be first to face. Puts the fire up in front.
Molotov reduces the retreat opportunities and immediately forces the peak. Team Spirit handle that one. And Guild fall to it. 6 elims found for Team Spirit on the western side of this circle. As we're just about to find where our next phase is going to take us. Right now, Thunder Talk, slap bang in the middle, 2 hills either side of them, trying to keep themselves under control with 4 players in the middle. The circle does slam straight on top of them as well.
Thunder Talk have a very big opportunity now. For RCB, maybe it was a missed window, which was Alpha 7 and Na'Vi, and I think it was more the fact that somehow, some way, Na'Vi is able to pick themselves up to their feet, looking fairly zombie-like. Keep on walking forward. They do make it into the circle. And RCB has to clear. They want to play over towards that eastern side, which is the only really feasible approach for them.
Silas first to cross the road. 2 players from Alpha 7 to face off against them. Na'Vi still on that eastern flank. Silas spotted, and that is, you're right, from Point Donkey on the southwest edge of this fight. This scrap is going the way of Alpha 7 though. Tips out to the blue for a long time. Carrillo takes a lot of damage from it, takes a round as well. But will just about stay alive for a moment longer. Outside, he does find the knock, but it's Vexy with the Maxi 14. Hitting hard, and Alpha 7 fall to it.
Sara, the lone samurai, now needs to go on by himself. Time to get some more points. He doesn't know that Nick McGalaxy's out, but he just needs to live. But this is a hard place to do it from. Void Donkey ID likely will have information. He's got no vehicle to work with until he spots a monster truck right inside his way. He'll need that bad boy going forward. Sends it out, tons of damage pouring over towards him though. How much longer can he live? And Na'Vi should have sightlines on this.
It's Void Donkey though, who are peppering the edge of this monster truck. I don't think he gets away. You can see it starting to burst into flames. Under the bonnet, that's far from healthy, will no longer be operable. And Sara is trapped, but he's in the zone. He is in just about the north side of this zone and will be safe for just a moment longer. Point Donkey ID are able to sit there too. Na'Vi with their outpost on the north, not so lucky, but Influence Rage, they're rolling around on the south side. Team Spirit crunching in from the north. DRX being the opposing force to put the pressure down, and Diego's the last to stand for Influence Rage.
Strong approach from Team Spirit this game. I mean, they are surrounded on all sides. Nate's going through. Good one over the top side there from DRX. Team Spirit will claim one of those eliminations. Now D+ trying to clear out Incilio. Still with 4 players alive though, John. 4 eliminations. This could turn out to be a good game for them. Angling themselves closer and closer to the top 2.
It depends on how far Sara can go. With Incilio going down, the placements are going to start to add up now. It's D+ here, 5 eliminations. Slowly approaching. They were 16 points behind the top spot at the start of this match. They are slowly eating into that lead. Na'Vi take a knock, and that actually goes over to D+ Kia as well. Puncher, I don't think he's getting back up with Chips moving into position, flanking out to the east side there. Goes out wide and has the cover. Next circle comes through. We'll see where it takes us. Again, slams straight on top of Thundertalk.
For RCB, actually not that terrible. This forces Voindonkey ID to move forward, but again, RCB, Sarah's got nothing to work with, no vehicle. The pad on down towards the circle here. He has to hope more teams go out on the outside. Top 5 would be ideal. It's not going to be a huge amount of points, but D+ also need to go down for them. Like the boys are saying, I think it is going to be down to the final map.
Certainly all to play for. The roll up from Na'Vi, not going according to plan, not quite. Thundertalk able to hold it. 4 elims found, and they will go down there. Thundertalk hold the center, and they keep 4 players alive, but they've had to regroup to the same side of the road blank. There could be an opening.
The Thundertalk is a good hold, very good hold. Difficult buildings to work against as well. Good crossfire they held in that location. Team Spirit trying to get away. Zeta with that P90.
A fearsome sight over any ridgeline. Hitting them with the monster over the hill. As Kitsune launches a nade, bounces back off the tree, unfortunately protected by the boughs of it. And not going to be able to connect that first attempt. Team Spirit down to 2 players, but Razak's been spotted. That's the off angle. That's Sara, I think, from RCB, the last player to go on out wide, but now attention has been drawn their way. And I don't know how much further Sara can get into this.
Pretty much has to push over towards the east here. With Na'Vi going down, it actually exposed a lot of space over towards that northeast side, but Nolbu, always the front line of the spear, moves forward, but it's Vexy once again. The Maxi 14 inside of his hands is devilish, to say the least.
But he's been spotted. Vexy does go down, and it's D+ Kia, who now have not got RCB to extend their lead ahead of them. RCB falling in 7th place, low placements, low eliminations here, a definite window of opportunity from the east side, relatively uncontested. They will look to open up the thrusters now.
A elimination game from Team Spirit, not bad at all, honestly, considering that they were fully surrounded. Massive standoff between them and a fair few of the squads. It is D+. All eyes on them at the moment. A few teams towards the top side of the table that has that chance to chase. Right now they control a lot of the eastern side, but they may have just met some of their South Korean brethren over towards the west. Osal comes flying in to assist Chips, Fabian, Nolbu on the back line.
With the standoff not favourable for D+ Kia, they're reinforcing. You can see Nolbu and Fabian moving a little bit closer down to the south. The next circle's going to pop as well as this fight unfurls. As Nolbu moves up to that high ground, it goes over to Thundertalk again on the circle shift. So it will be a contest for these buildings. And how firmly can they hold their grasp around them? That's the question for the team from PEL. 5 eliminations found on their side already. Meanwhile, D+ Kia, they seem to have forced DRX to go for the crash first. Or are they trying to leapfrog this? This is a big rotate coming through from DRX. They're now ahead of D+ Kia. Can they stop them here? Fabian cannot connect the spray. Oh, this is disastrous for D+. They've just allowed them straight in.
That was bad indeed. Not a single shot delivered on mark. Now D+ looks to send over to the front side, get the nades out. Shotgun in hand from Nolbu, has to send back. The spear blunted at the front.
Swatted aside. This is a real big rotate, a real big play from DRX. Nolbu hasn't been flushed just yet, but Kaiksei's putting the nades down, trying to land them. And in come Voindonkey ID. Potential respite for D+ Kia as Voindonkey ID from Indonesia move over to the north side of this circle and try and put pressure on. DRX can no longer freely peek over these ridgelines, can no longer get into position, and this is exactly why. Kaiksei takes so much damage, and he can't freely move anymore.
Now Voindonkey's not happy about this. They move in. They're here to lay down the law. They find the last player there from Team Spirit. 8 eliminations, 6th place. Avoid Donkey ID looking to take this game further. 5 elims in their hands, and they've got a chokehold over DRX and D+.
The east side hills, the target for the Falcons as they try and descend. Down the hill they go, trying to careen their way into the buildings, and actually making it successfully to some cover in the next circle. A little defilade to keep them safe, a little bit more time to play with. In the meantime, D+ Kia did take a knock from Point Donkey ID, but that should be resable just about.
Razak moving the McLaren out from the blue here. Next circle into State J, and Thunder Dogs once again eating good tonight. Razak looks to finish off Falcons. Get behind them, potentially take control of the western building, because Thunder Dogs smartly have regrouped, and Point Donkey goes for a big old swing.
And King is able to meet it blow for blow. Razor goes down, is torn apart. High chiming in as well. 2 more points added to the tally for the Thunder Talk. And Point Donkey ID shredded down to 2, but they make their way down to the roadside.
Slight bit of mistake from Point Donkey ID. You understand the thought process. Try swing off by, but Thunder Talk's way too accurate in that moment. D+ though, and DRX get to reaggress. Now that the annoying fly to the side has been dealt with, and they're going to go for it again. The Donkeys on their march out.
I don't think so. I do not think so. The last rollout for Vexy, somehow staying safe. Big old question mark on that, finally on the hop in. Spotted by King. And now the top of the hill, it's getting hot as well. D+ Kia able to win out the fight against DRX. And with 2 players down, they can res, they're not under threat, but High Flex is out now. 10 elims found for the Thunder Talks. And goodness me, what a lot of pressure onto D+ Kia. They found more elims now, they can get more placements out of this game. Somehow Icy's still alive for Falcons, but a 3rd place guaranteed for South Korea.
This is a huge game for D+. After the opportunity was given to them, after the door was opened, they've firmly taken it in their hands. They will pick up Icy. This is a slick game indeed from D+. Now looking down towards Thunder Talk.
10 elims on either side. But look at the stock of utility for Thunder Talk. At the top of the screen you can see 15 smoke grenades, 18 frags. D+ here, a little bit more low on supplies. They'll launch in from the high ground and actually may be able to sweep towards the middle of this circle plank because it's closing, but it might not matter.
Nobu down, and for Thunder Talk, this ain't no talk, this is an argument. The YPEL is such a strong region still. Shin goes down, and D+ on the side, still on the grind. Fabian will pick up Shing. Start to work the issue, a full reset on the level 3, on the helmet and the vest. Goes AJ, dangerous positioning. Nade could be good, airburst strong. Big, it's one, hits a second. It's all down to Fabian.
He's got the roadside, but nothing more. A 1v3 on the cards. D+ Kia need him to dig deep. King moves forward, surges into the fight. The spray is good for one, and it will connect. Thunder Talk take the chicken dinner.
Lightning struck not once, not twice, 3 times, 4 on that circle. And Thunder Talk will take themselves a chicken dinner here in match 5.
Finally, China steps up and gets a big win here for Thunder Talk. To be honest, all of our talk is really focused on D+ here, having a phenomenal match with a good amount of eliminations. I think finishing around 10 plus the 6 points of placements, getting themselves 16 points and keep themselves in reach of that trophy.
Such an important game for D+. Yeah, this is going to be their one opportunity if they wanted to keep competing with Nigma Galaxy and Regnum Bra. And their rotation from Impala, hugging the coastal line onto the east, playing northeast of El Azahar, and really that late game finish there. Sure, they don't get the win, but the execution from the entire macro perspective was perfectly executed. I did have some doubts, 7, but overall it was a really solid game.
I didn't have any doubts. This is why this team, I mean, going into the last 2 matches, before this match I was saying D+ is going to be able to pleasantly surprised us because of what they're able to do. I'm really impressed with what they were able to do in regards to the 3-1 splits. At one point, Max, you were seeing 3-1 splits out of D+, and you were a little bit worried.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried they were getting too close to DRX and Influence Rage, but I think that themselves understood, okay, we're maybe a little bit too close to the competition here in the city of El Azahar. We're going to just hold our position, wait for the circle, and then they go east and they clear Incilio, they clear Navi, they're just on a complete path of destruction to the east and then claim 50% of the circle.
And for D+, not even after that, the way that they were able to just fully control the east of that circle. On top of that, continuing on that 3-1 split, they had Nobu being able to get some off angles. So far, this team is looking like a champion caliber team, Jason.
Well, I'm hoping these 4 points they just lost out on against Thundertalk doesn't come back to bite them, because that was a great push you were saying, Max, going up that ridge, using that to their advantage with the help of the smokes to actually win the game for Thundertalk.
I can't really fault D+ Kia for that position and that second place, because they tried to send Fabian down the hill behind that crate to get off angle to Thundertalk, which is great, but instantly Thundertalk understood, wait, that's an off angle, if we hug the side of the circle, they can't quite see us, and then the nades of like him in particular, insane utility coming on through, and then they claim the high ground. Fabian, unfortunately, in a 1v3, there's not much can do that.
That ridge was so steep that you're not even going to see those nades coming either.
Yeah, it's just like they're going to hit up on impact, and it was greatly played from him. So yeah, as you said, those 4 points, I hope it doesn't come back and haunt them at the end, because that could make a world of difference after the next game.
Well, speaking of haunting, Enigma Galaxy losing out against DRX in that fight. I mean, that could have been their opportunity to push up the leaderboards and create a lead for themselves here. But DRX really saving it for their sister team for D+.
I'm a little bit scared, especially with Enigma Galaxy. That is back-to-back matches. You can see that it doesn't go their way in regards to the fight. The first one, in regards to the last airing duel, Snowix was able to kind of save face, right? Damage control by being able to get all those placement points. But on this one, once they saw that the fight was going to be over, you saw Raul trying to hop into that buggy, trying to get away. They need to be able to play carefully. I feel like we need to see the Enigma Galaxy that we saw out of yesterday when it came down to this Miramars, if they want to get a chance at winning the championship.
Yeah, I mean, saving face is not going to cut it if you want to go the entire way and become the 2024 champions of PMGC. We need to see these big finishes. We have seen already in the past, as you said, Seven, from Enigma Galaxy, but today it's just in the late game, there's just 1 or 2 players because they have these early altercation options that, as we said, right, are a little bit desperate, and maybe at the bottom, maybe don't care as much, and if we see a team, we'll just send it, because why the hell not? But it has a huge impact on the top of the rankings.
And we're going to be going into the last match as well of PMGC Grand Finals. We were talking about craziness, we were talking about teams, what are they going to be doing, especially the teams that are towards the bottom. This is usually when we see that craziness, when we see those teams really not caring in regards to the engagement. They know what they're going to end up placing anyways. They're just going to go for crazy stuff, and the teams at the top, with how close it is, they need to watch out.
I mean, the Vicious, you might want to even recall them the villains right now if they do go for these hot drops here on potentially some of these top teams. We can see Thundertalk, 24 massive points for this team. Just unfortunate it came towards the very end of the event, where we could have been talking about them as being one of the top contenders. At 17 points for D+, Team Spirit getting themselves 10. As you look down the list here, I mean, you're not seeing RCB, you're not seeing Enigma.
And yeah, and that's going to allow them to catch up, right? They had a little bit of a point difference. What was it, 16-point difference between Kia and the first place team
RCB,
So that is definitely the game they needed if they wanted to have an opportunity to compete. And it's going to be between 3 teams, right? The trophy is going to be going between these 3 different regions. It's going to be maybe MENA, maybe it's going to be going on to the other side for Turkey, or it could also be going over to the side of South Korea. One of them will be taking it home right after this next game.
We've been saying it the whole year. We don't know who's going to be the champion.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to lie, a couple of these teams I never would have expected. Actually, all 3 of those teams I would not have put there in my top 3, but we can see here, D+ has surpassed Enigma Galaxy and are 1 point short. Well, technically 2, right? We have to keep in mind, these chicken dinners are a massive part. That is the first tiebreaker of how this works out. So D+ need 2 points to surpass them, and honestly, these 3 teams, our eyes are all going to be focused on them.
Oh my word. I mean, the thing is, you're looking at the top 3, right? Influence Rage, like, maybe we can't go for first place, but we can push up in top 3, maybe. And they maybe want to try and be an issue for Enigma Galaxy. They could still try and go for a last-minute dash at the top, so there's still someone in the conversation, but not for the trophy.
There's a lot of money still to be won here. Exactly. All these teams, if you could move up here in the last match.
For RCB, I mean, I'm going to be looking at just their fragging power. I'm going to be looking at what kind of match they're going to be playing. Are they going to be trying to play aggressive? I'm hoping that they don't adjust too much on what they're going to be doing for Enigma Galaxy as well. We see what they were able to do in the past in regards to Miramar. They were able to just control the center of the circle if they are able to find a great location. And then even though they are currently the team in the top 3 with the least amount of eliminations, we know that they can definitely start fragging out, as we saw earlier in the day.
just imagining a world where Sara's the last player left alive for Ragnar
Oh my
and
God.
gets him the win. The funny thing is, though, the trophy back to Turkey, not to Japan. But maybe it gives them the drive coming up next year to make Team Reject be the one to lift the trophy. For you guys at home, though, big shout out here to Infinix, as they are official phone provider here. The Infinix GT20 Pro, this dual chipset, 144 hertz AMOLED screen with 120 FPS. You guys can pick one up and play like the Pro. I feel like we're gonna have to replace this wallpaper with the winning team, though, at some point.
We'll have to do that. That would be a good wallpaper for all of 2025, and then 2025 we'll swap it with a new one.
Yeah, there you go.
Every year.
Or
Yeah,
even,
wait.
where'd it go? Well,
Hey,
you know what?
Pekka,
You
you
back your new Infinix device. You can make sure to go command the Frozen Battleground with the Icemire Frontier version available. If you guys missed the show match we had earlier on as well, it was crazy to see that Frostborn Dragon being taken out. And again, we're gonna say this for the last time. Our favorite event that's been in PUBG Mobile ever.
It's getting better and better update after update. I'm really excited for 2025. We saw Rondo. I can talk about that quite a bit. Like, that's going to be very exciting.
Oh, we're gonna have a ton of talk.
we will.
We will.
Where?
Pandemonium Squad.
There you
Oh,
go.
he's asking us to do a plug.
I thought he was gonna say at PMGO next year.
Oh, okay.
That too.
That's on the time it releases, right? And on top of this, you guys at home who want more freebies, there is 100,000 packs left here. If you use the code PMGC Home on the official PUBG Mobile website at PUBGMobile.com/redeem, and you can build your own ice home. But only 100,000 is available, so make sure you guys go redeem it right now, and then come right back, obviously, for the last match here.
I got mine.
Redeemed that one. I forgot.
Really?
I did got the Dragon one. I did not get that one. Only 100,000. I'm thinking.
We're not allowed. We're not allowed.
Yes, we are.
Well, we better be, because I think you are.
I hope we are, because I've been redeeming every single one.
So I'm going to bring up
That's
this topic
rehearsal.
again, and honestly, I feel like it's a very valid topic to always discuss. Last match, do you go for a different drop? Do you try to play extra safe here? Well, you know what? In the meantime, we're going to head down to the stage one more time here before we get into this last match with Sandstorm.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the Excel Arena in London, how are we feeling? Okay, we have one game to go. After this next match on Miramar, we will have our 2024 PMGC champions. Who do you think's gonna win it?
I mean, we have 3 teams currently in the race for first place. Regnum, Carrier, Bra Esports, Nigma, Galaxy, and D plus Kia. Records waiting to be set by every single one of these teams. $400,000 on the line. One last game. Excel Arena, are you ready?
We will be diving into our final map very shortly. Don't go anywhere.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Hey!
Get on people there. There you go.
Well, I wish we could do the top counter talk to start game, but we do have to wait a little bit longer to get to obviously build up what's going to be happening here. We could see for the first time South Korea taking home the trophy. For me, that just blows my mind, considering this is a region we haven't really expected a ton of. We've seen it consistently at these PMGCs, thinking back to Archer, I believe in Season 0, and we're seeing them on the brink of showing what South Korea has.
It would be the year of underdog regions, right? Japan, PMGO, winning that trophy, then getting second place in PMWC, dominating the international stage, and then followed up with South Korea, their brethren. They're always fighting the Rivals Cup, right, of South Korea versus Japan, able to maybe claim the trophy. But of course, it is not going to be an easy access to it because Regnum Karabra and Nigma Galaxy, sure, they might have been a bit topsy-turvy, but you know they're going to give it their all here in this last game.
And as well for Nigma Galaxy, I mean, this team has just been battling through haters saying, no, you're not going to be able to make it to the grand finals. Raouf, even though he is a humble man, he wanted to say a lot of stuff. He said, I'm going to save it until I become the champion of PMGC Grand Finals in London 2024. I'm pretty sure they're going to be hunting that down, but can they bounce back after those back-to matches that haven't been that well?
I mean, for Navarro, Snoix, and Redox, this is basically like their first time coming so close. Raouf, he's been in positions like this before, and for him to just have that integrity and focus to just keep grinding, even through roster changes, even through ups and downs within his own team, it would honestly be a great thing to see. And of course, Sara, I mean, he's feeling it. I still think this would be the craziest thing to happen, to have to go for an emergency replacement, bringing him in because your other player, Race, broke his arm.
I love it.
In PMGC with a player you can't even communicate with?
It must be confusing if you're a Regnum Karabakh fan. You're like, my favorite player from Turkey is Sara? Maybe?
Next year, what does Random Karabakh do? Do they just decide to?
We're moving to Japan.
They're like, reject. We would like to have him for the whole year of 2025.
Hey, pick him up, man.
Honestly, I mean, if you end up winning PMGC with him, you're gonna have to.
Your boy Reggie Osio?
Yes.
Reggie, requalify, please.
Oh no.
He needs to requalify.
I mean, but you are seeing, like, the fact is, communication is very tough for them. We've already said before, they're not really speaking English to each other. It's just a couple of small commands here or there. I think that kind of shows just the individual skill that Sara has as a player to adapt around the style to a team that he can't really communicate with, and for Silas to be able to take that into consideration when leading his team, of knowing how to utilize Sara best.
I mean, Silas is so experienced when it comes to these tournaments, right? He's already said it, Seven. He's already won it. So I think that he's like, I'm experienced. I can maybe spend a little bit more of my resources and time to get Sara where we want him to be in the fights and in these engagements. And so far, it's been working really, really well, enough to actually be contending for the trophy.
For all these three teams at the top, currently separated by just 5 points, I want to see how they're going to be reacting through adversity. We have already seen RCB being able to react earlier on. D plus TF, we know what they can definitely do whenever we come to Miramar. They were able to just showcase it. Nick McGalaxy, they've been working out on stuff, but is the fragging power going to be there for this squad to make the push to first place? I'm not sure.
And Frostborn Dragon better be careful. It's not that cold on Miramar here, and again, there are no hovercrafts for these teams, but as you can see, it looks like we are just moments away from hopping into this battle match. I cannot believe the entire year is all coming down to this. So let's throw it back to our commentators for the last time here in 2024 with John Allen and Blake.
With one more match to play, the trophy remains firmly placed on the stage, but that will change all too soon. The full set of 18 matches to conclude here, and our plane sends us straight down the middle. A nice fair start.
We don't know who's going to win, who's going to be crowned victorious, but London, let me hear you make some noise for these teams.
That's the sort of energy they'll need to take away this top spot at the moment. A bit of a 3-horse race towards those tables, but we've seen record-breaking games here. There is always that possibility. It's not over till it's over.
Right now, down from the south side up towards the north, RCB chewing away at their fingernails because this is tough. This is very tough. It's nice to see the amount of fans that came out to support them. What is this? Circle up to the east side. All right. There's no way. There's no way we go either.
There's surely there's no way that it circles up onto those tiny little land masses out on the eastern side beyond Impala. I've only ever seen it once in competitive play. A Blank, let me tell you, it was pretty crazy. You were there. I was there. And I think most of the players do not wish they were there.
Ralph was there.
He was.
I don't think he wants to go back, I'll tell you that now. But Nick McGalaxy down towards Potapati Iso. On that south side, looting up. The Vicious, nice and central once again, but it's D+. First to the center. Our team in second place, just 1 point away. Breathing down the necks of RCB.
And there is just these moments of calm before it will all